Weighted by playing time, Warriors have twice as much as their Rockets counterparts. And we are thrilled to have Stephen A. with us from the Countdown Stat. And Stephen A., this is just that classic matchup, age and experience versus youth and inexperience. The Rockets are a relentless, high-energy team. How do you see this going?
Well, I think it's going to be tough. I think it'll be a 7-game series. I mean, I think they've got the talent. They've got the defensive prowess. They certainly have size. They have the ability to rebound the ball far more effectively than Golden State. And I think they're exceptionally well coached by one of the best coaches in basketball in Ime Udoka. What we're going to find out is whether or not they have a closer. We know that Fred VanVleet is a champion. We know this. But outside from him, who do you have? Is Jalen Green ready to take the bull by the horn and really cement himself as the franchise face for the Houston Rockets? We got to take that into consideration as well. Amen Thompson. Remember, last time Steph Curry saw him, Steph Curry shot 1 for 10 from the field because that young kid is such an elite defender, and he really goes after you. So they've got some promising prospects. Make no mistake about it. The Houston Rockets are a legitimate threat. But the baby-faced assassin that is Steph Curry is who he is. Jimmy Butler is Jimmy Buckets. This is the playoffs. He didn't shoot more than 17 times in the 29 regular season games he played for the Golden State Warriors before Sunday against the Clippers. That game and last night's game, he shot more than 20 times, going to the free throw line 27 times. So we know what Jimmy Buckets brings to the table, no doubt about that. Experience, championship pedigree, and Steph Curry, etc. That should rule the day, but it will take a 7-game series, as far as I'm concerned, to pull it off, because it's that challenging.
Yeah, I would say you'd have to win on the road. Obviously, the Rockets have home court. They're 6th in scoring defense, opponents' field goal percentage. It's good to have the Rockets playing meaningful things in the playoffs. Nonetheless, though, ESPN Bet Sportsbook has the Rockets as an underdog, which you might expect given all the things Stephen A. just said. They're plus 150 to win the series as the 2-seed Lakers. They are a heavy favorite to advance over Minnesota, and the Red Hot Clippers, they're a slight favorite over the 4th-seed Denver after winning their last 8 games of the season. So we're going to see Minnesota and Los Angeles on ABC this weekend at 8:30 Eastern. So the Wolves, we know they have Ant-Man, right? He's going to need some help. The Lakers have LeBron and Luka. What determines this series?
Well, listen, Minnesota's going to have to really up their game on both ends of the floor. Defensively, they're going to have to be better than solid. They're going to have to be elite. Luka has had his way with them. We all know what he did against them in the Western Conference Finals, and that was without LeBron James as a teammate. Now you've got LeBron James, and the way LeBron James has been playing, he's been playing for a few of these, most like an MVP candidate, for crying out loud. So when you look at it from that standpoint, the Lakers are definitely formidable. We understand this, and Minnesota's going to have their work cut out for them. What I'm interested in seeing, Hannah, is this. Anthony Edwards, the Ant-Man, is a superstar in this game. There are moments where he has looked Jordan-esque. He's improved his three-point shooting. He can get to the hole at will, and he can elevate against anybody. And in a game of this magnitude, he's going to be required, or a series of this magnitude, he's going to be required to be a superstar. He can't just show up and be a star. He can't just show up and be a little bit better than average. In order for Minnesota to win this series, he is going to have to cement himself on an elevated level. We already know how terrific he is, but it's going to be called upon for him to give a little bit something more in order to knock off both Luka and LeBron. I don't think he can do it, but I think he can do enough to stretch this series to 6 or 7 games. I think he'll average over 30. I just don't know if anybody's going to help him offensively.
Yeah, like what about Julius Randle? Wouldn't that be nice if he would step up in the playoffs? Yes.
That would be nice. That would be nice. I believe in him, though, but it would be nice.
I know. Okay. So we're talking former Knicks.
All right, Hannah, to the NBA now, where the Mavericks visit the Kings tonight in the play-in tournament with their season on the line. Of course, many people believe their season was over the moment they traded Luka Doncic to the Lakers in February. GM Nico Harrison holding a closed-door meeting with select members of the media yesterday, saying he had, quote, no regrets about the deal. Tim McMahon is on the scene in Sacramento for tonight's game and was in attendance at yesterday's presser with Harrison. Tim, it's been difficult for Dallas last couple of months. How's this all affecting the Mavs players?
Howdy, Jay. There's been a series of bad decisions and bad luck that have put the Mavericks in this position, a 10 seed on the road, trying to extend their season. And look, it has been an emotionally draining, bizarre season for every one of those guys in that locker room. They are not to blame, and they don't the wrath of this Mavericks fan base is not targeted at them, but these things take a toll. I think Jason Kidd has made a point to credit the players in that locker room for their professionalism, for the pride that they've shown. And the fact that Anthony Davis came back late in the season at all shows you the pride, the professionalism, how much they want to compete. They'll get at least one last shot to do that tonight here in Sacramento against the Kings.
Yeah, not to be all negative and whatnot, with a loss, Dallas would be the first team since the 2019-2020 Warriors to miss the playoffs after making the NBA Finals the previous season. Tim McMahon, my dude, thank you so much. For more on tonight's games, here's Tony and Mike with tonight's PTI bonus topic. Tonight in the NBA, and the Hawks very interested in this one. Atlanta will play at home Friday night for the 8th spot against the winner of tonight's game in Chicago between the Bulls and the Miami Heat. This is the third year in a row the Heat and Bulls are meeting in the play-in tournament. First, 2023, Jimmy Butler dropped 31. Max Strus matching him with another 31 against his former team. Miami closing the game on a 15-1 run and went on to win 102-91. Miami went on to the NBA Finals, where they lost to Denver. NBA champ Udonis Haslem with us now. UD, you won 3 titles with the Heat. They're trying for another one this year. How confident are you in this Miami team with no you and no Jimmy Butler?
I'm extremely confident because I know those guys in that locker room and I know that staff. Coach Spoelstra is the best in the business is getting his guys to wrap their mind around the next 24 hours and what it's going to take to be successful. They won't beat themselves tonight. They will be connected. They will play hard, and it's going to get down to the last couple minutes of the game, and I got to believe that the Miami Heat are going to execute.
Okay, we'll see if that happens. Let's go over to the West, my friend. The Mavs appear in their first play-in game. They get the Kings. Winner of that one gets the Grizzlies for the 8th seed. Which of these teams do you think poses a bigger threat to Memphis?
I got to go with Sacramento on this one right now. I just love the combination of Sabonis, DeRozan, and Levine and the way they can score the basketball. I love the fact that they have a real post presence, a guy who can get it done on the post, and they can generate offense through him. So I really love that combination. Also, just Ja Morant. How is that ankle? I'm a little bit concerned about that ankle right now. So, I like to stay with Sacramento right there.
Okay, the loser of this one eliminated from playoff contention. All right, Udonis, the Orlando Magic, they beat the Hawks last night to lock up the 7th seed. They get the reigning champion, the defending champion, Boston Celtics. The Magic heavy underdogs in this series, but in the last 3 seasons, the Magic are one of 5 teams that actually have a winning record against the Celtics. So how can the Magic challenge Boston in round 1?
I'm very intrigued by this matchup. But when you talk about this Magic team, the problem they have is their offense. It's not their defense. They're the 2nd defensive team in the league, and they're the #1 team guarding the three-point line against the team that broke the three-point record this year. I think this gives them a chance. If they can guard that three-point line and they can keep it close, they can give themselves a chance to pull it out at the end. I'm a defensive guy, so I feel like if you can guard your yard, you have a chance against anybody in this league. I don't think they have enough to win this series, but they have enough to keep it close and make it interesting.
Well, the defense is tough. Orlando ranking 1st in the NBA this season in points per game at 105.5 and blocks per game at 6. Catch more of Udonis Haslem on NBA Countdown, top of the hour, right here on ESPN.
Quay sang con Ly quay sang dỗi không dậy nữa. What? Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn các bạn làm vòng. Vòng hôm nay của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là số 11. Mọi người, hôm nay vòng của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là số 7. Bây giờ mình bắt đầu làm nhé.
Mà ta phải làm sao ra đây?
Thích làm nào làm? Do mình với do ai?
Thì do ta chỉ nó như thế là làm sao? Các gì nó nghe. Đấy, nó đã cho tôi xin lỗi là tôi chấp nhận. Là một cái ngu đấy.
Mọi người ơi, đây là màu xanh nha. Đây là màu vàng.
Chiếu vậy không?
tục sẽ lấy màu xanh, màu hồng.